I want to introduce you to second-time visitors that, over a period of more or less a year, kind of became very close with Leanne and I. We originally met on one of our drescapes tours, and I want to introduce you to two really great people, Doug and Sherry. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
I know another, I don't like to use the word problem ever. I like to use the word opportunity. But I know another opportunity you have in the future to solve is aging parents.
Right.
And while I'm a firm believer in keeping family together, it's something I wish I had more of. What I would like to address is the aging parent issue, because unfortunately the truth of it is they'll be leaving you before you're leaving
Most
them.
likely.
Right.
And there's places that would allow better access, affordable health care, affordable even private care. And how are you guys addressing that? Because I know that's also a concern.
That's still partially in research, I would say. I like the way the culture treats the elderly in this environment.
More of a respect rather than a hindrance.
Respect, attention.
Yeah, in the country areas.
Not neglect.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the cities anywhere are a little different.
You don't see any nursing homes. You see them as a
usually
family
cared
unit.
for by
In the
neighbors or
country,
family.
they do. Their wisdom,
Right.
But I have to say I'm not completely up on all of the hospitals and all the access to medical assistance here. I know some. So that's something I'm going to have to look into. Also, we both have siblings at home. If it was something that either our parents were not agreeable to, or maybe our siblings, it would be something that had to be worked out with the family. For instance, if they were to come here and join us, it wouldn't be something where we were directing, you have to do this, or, but we would definitely, that would probably be the next step, is looking into that more thoroughly to make sure that we're prepared if that becomes a reality for us.
Well, I know just from my personal research with the small group that I do, we're just barely entering the initial stages of this when we predicted the violence starting to escalate around the last quarter of 2015. However, what are your thoughts why, at this stage, even with what's around the world happening and coming to Western nations, why are so few people seeing this? Now, granted, there's a few more than before, but I mean, for some, you need to get shot to realize someone had a gun, and I don't get it. Can you live in there? Tell me.
I think, from what I've seen, it's a combination of the media. I'm not going to blame it all on the media, but there's so many people that are preoccupied with so many things. It's there's nothing wrong with sports. I played football. I did other sports. But it's, they're like in a rut or something, and they have blinders on, and all they can see is, okay, sports, or who's the next American Idol, or there's things that are preoccupying their time, and they're not really looking up to see what's going on around us. It's the new fad, or
like Doug said, a lot of people are preoccupied with earning a living, taking care of their family, whatever their entertainment options are. But I think personally that a lot of people, it's too frightening to think of what might be happening, and they want to believe that nothing's really changing, that, whatever bumps are in the road, we'll get past that and things will go back business as usual at some point.
So you believe a lot more no than let on, but they just can't, they're in denial? There
might be some in denial, but I mean, I was there. I mean, we raised 4 children, and we made a decision. She stayed home. We homeschooled the children. So as a fireman, I worked a 24 on, 48 off shift, and so I worked several jobs so that she could stay home and raise the kids. And we were in that. I mean, we were doing sports and just trying to get by, and not really. I call it just looking up and seeing what's going on around us. But now that our children are grown and they have their own families and all, we're starting to. Well, it's been
A little older, a little wiser,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
not as overwhelmed with taking care
Well,
of the
I've been
family.
talking. We were having a coffee at the house this morning, and Sherry, you've actually been looking into this, not seriously, but this has actually dabbled
Oh,
in
yeah.
your head for how many years now?
At-
The option of possibly
Maybe
expatriation.
2007.
7, yeah.
7, 8.
Yeah, we started looking into other countries, Mexico, Belize, Costa Rica, Ecuador.
When I was
Panama.
working security at the hospitals, they have little waiting rooms. And many times I worked at night after things were shut down, and there would be magazines for people to pass the time with. And there were things like international living,
Oh yeah, yeah.
retirement type or getaway type magazines. And so, you see the whatever the topics are, and many of them were about, they would say, living cheaply or living overseas, stretching your dollar, that kind of thing. Well, that's always interested me, making your money go as far as possible. Good quality, but, And so that's where it began, toying with the idea of possibly living somewhere other than the States. But I have to say I wasn't quite aware of political changes in the entire world. I always paid attention to politics within the United States, but I really wasn't aware how things were connected, and I wasn't aware of some deceptions. And things started clicking along, weren't quite making sense.
Now you visited some of these other countries?
A few, not many. Mostly it was research, some online. When it came to, I found drescapes accidentally and shared it with Doug. And when it came to what you were doing and the people that you were interviewing and what you were showing, it was just much more thorough.
Right.
Than
and we had not found anything like what you have with drescapes. There was no support system. There was no
not presented anyway.
Not at least not presented where, hey, we live here. We know the area. We know how to live here. We've been doing it for a while. You got a man that's been all over the world, lived in 6, 7 countries, and you know what you're talking about. You're not in your mom's basement doing little blogs or something. You've lived it, and you're living it.
Made my share of mistakes too.
Right.
I'll tell you that.
Well, and that's
that's part of it.
We haven't found that where somebody's actually lived it, living it, and can give us advice from experience, not from theory
or just share information where we can make our own decisions.
Right.
But,
we've even noticed that, Leanne and I. A lot of Western cultures become a know-it-all by plugging a keyboard.
Right.
And that may tell you a knowledge, but it doesn't give you wisdom. It doesn't give you experience, in other words.
Right.
And, we run into that quite a bit where everybody's rifling off what it is to live here and live there. And, my gosh, it's really in left field. Even the people like, what about violence? Well, kind of look at your own nation, what about violence? Or, because I'm Canadian or American, they're going to attack. Well, nobody kills more Americans than Americans, or Canadians than Canadians. They I don't know where the scuttlebutt comes about the inaccuracy. I mean, I've always thought the internet is the greatest tool in the world, but like any tool, the wielder is what holds its usefulness and whether it's good or bad. And this is your second trip. I know you came here for immigration. Congratulations, yada yada. But you were going to spend a week, and then you picked up the phone and said, "Hey, y'all mind if we come up for a week?" And well, we kept in touch with each other. So I want to make that clear. Not every time do we get this close with people. We love you all, but just frequencies certain times click. And when they said, "Would you mind if we?" and we said, "Well, we'd mind if you didn't," kind of thing. And so we're really glad you spent your week with us.